Hello, tea timers. So today I made my tea and then I went downstairs to talk to my husband with the tea in the pot. Oh my goodness, that is so strong. It's like bricklayer's tea. So in England, people that are construction people, they're called bricklayers, and they like their tea so strong the spoon almost stands up. So when I went to England to visit my mum, I made my cousin, who's a bricklayer, a cup of tea, and he kept saying, "No, Sal, no, stronger, stronger." And this is pale compared to what a bricky would drink, but to me it's just a little too dark. It's still really good. Anyway, so today I thought I would talk to you a bit about acrylic paints. So what are acrylic paints to start with? So acrylic paint is made of pigment suspended in an acrylic polymer emulsion. Sounds pretty fancy, doesn't it? Basically just really like plastic. I was just trying to tip my camera so you didn't get as much glare on my acrylic paint. The great thing about acrylic paint is it dries really, really quickly, which if it's a hot sunny day you might have to work a bit faster, but there are things that you can add that retard the drying time. But for the most part, if you've got quite enough time to play about before it dries, or you can spray it or add these extenders to it. But after you've painted your picture, it's ready to go, not like an oil painting that can take weeks to dry. So gallery acrylic is what I normally use, and then if you want to go a bit more professionally upmarket, Golden is another great brand. So acrylic can actually be made to look like oil paint. This is one of mine, or watercolor. If you add enough water, I forgot to grab the canvas that I had with watercolor on it. Before I paint, I'm just going to take my painting away. Sorry. I don't want to get any blobs on it and damage it. It's already fallen off the wall once in the frame. That I thought we were being burgled, and I got up in the middle of the night because I heard this massive crash, and I couldn't find anything, and I didn't go out in the garage because I thought maybe a bear had got in the garage and somebody left it open. But turned out finally I saw my picture because it's in a really heavy frame, and it was on the floor. So I'd shown you before how to do those little finger clouds, which was great fun. I'm going to show another thing that you can do. I've just got this in a styrofoam bowl. Sorry, yes, I'm polluting the earth. I don't normally do this. I normally use a plate and then I wash or wipe off the paint. So I'm just blobbing on some of this paint, and then I'm going to get just a toothpick and I'm going to pull this. Can you see that? I'm going to pull this through this paint, and you get this cool texture like grass. And there's a fat end and a skinny end. So the skinny end will give you smaller marks, but you can have all sorts of fun with this. You do this with the kids or the grandkids, and you can make sure they've got old clothes on, because acrylic paint will, once it's dry, it will not go anywhere. So don't be wearing your Ralph Lauren black label outfits when you're playing around with acrylic paint. Make sure you've got your apron on, or some old clothes, or really old, don't even have to be that old, like men's white shirts and stuff that you can find at the thrift shop for pennies now, because everyone's gone to business casual. But you see how fun that can be, that you scrape through and you can make these little trees and things, and you can, sky's the limit with that. Use your imagination. So once it's dry, what you can do then is you can paint over it, because once acrylic paint is dry, then you could go over it and you would never know that that was brown underneath, but you've got these cool textures. So this is not like watercolor where you have to know what you're doing and where you're going with the painting when you start it, because with watercolor you really can't excuse me, cover up your mistakes. Even though there's no right or wrong in art, we all know that when we do painting sometimes we go, ugh, I hate that, and we want to start again. So with acrylic, you can say, ugh, I hate that, and you can just go right over it, let it dry. Nobody would ever know it's there. So underneath here is the brown that I did with the toothpick, and then I just painted over with some colours and added some little blobs for flowers, and I got this cute little landscape. And that was a lovely, simple, fun, relaxing painting session that really didn't take any skill. I mean, there's no drawing skill doing a little mountainy hill. And then we've got this lovely texture that you can get with the paints with the dried brown colour underneath. So anyway, there's some little tips with acrylic for you. Maybe next week I'll talk about the different things that you can paint on with acrylic. I was planning to go into that, and then I wobbled on about stuff and spent too long on my cup of tea, didn't I? I will see you next week. Have some fun, do some drawing, draw anything, get a sketch pad and a pen, just doodle away, and I'll see you next week.